Good evening, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Happy to be back here in Wat Palelai. Tonight, the topic of the talk is how to develop the Ariyan Eightfold path. The Ariyan Eightfold path is the path the Buddha taught to end suffering. So, it is a very important topic. In the Samyutta Nikaya, chapter 45, that is the Magga Samyutta. Magga is a path. So, it's the explanation of the Ariyan Eightfold path. There it is said that the holy life is the Ariyan Eightfold path, and the fruits of the holy life are the paths and the fruits. The paths and the fruits refer to the four paths and the four fruits. These are stages of enlightenment. Only out of these eight, only the fourth fruit is a fully enlightened being. The others are stages of enlightenment. They are all, these Aryans are on their way out of samsara. The lowest is the first path. And that is also called stream entry. And the stream refers to the Ariyan Eightfold path, as mentioned in the chapter 55 of the Samyutta Nikaya. And after you attain the first path, in the same lifetime, it is said in the Samyutta Nikaya 25.1 that the path will turn to fruit. So from there, I think it is most likely the same with all the other paths and fruits. After you attain the second path, in the same lifetime, you will turn to the second fruit. Similarly for the third path and the fourth path. Sometimes these eight Aryans, the four paths and the four fruits, are said to be four Aryans, referring to the first fruit, Sotapanna, the second fruit, Sakadagamin, the third fruit, Anagamin, and the fourth fruit, Arahan. So, they are probably sometimes referred to as the four Aryans instead of the eight, because in the same lifetime, the path will turn to fruit. At the very latest, when the person is dying. So, there is a difference in the Dhamma of the suttas and in later books. In the suttas, the earlier suttas, the original teachings of the Buddha are found in the early 5 Nikayas. Because the Buddha said that his true Dhamma will last 500 years. Meaning that 500 years after the Buddha has passed away, his pure Dhamma, sometimes called Sat Dhamma, true Dhamma, will not be polluted. And the Buddha said after 500 years the Dhamma will be polluted. And in the Samyutta Nikaya, Sutta 16.13, the Buddha was talking to Kassapa. The Buddha said, the tool, the Dhamma will not disappear as long as the false Dhamma has not appeared. But when the false Dhamma appears, then the true Dhamma will slowly disappear. So the Buddha said very plainly that fake Dhamma will appear. And the Buddha also warned that when fake Dhamma appears, it will be very hard to distinguish between the true Dhamma and the fake Dhamma. So the Buddha gave a simile of gold. Buddha said now people want to buy gold because there is only real gold in the market. But a time will come when fake gold will appear. And when fake gold appears on the market, people will find it hard to distinguish between true gold and fake gold, and then people may not want to buy gold at all. So in the same way, the Buddha said, a time will come when fake Dhamma will appear, and people will find it very hard to distinguish between true Dhamma and fake Dhamma. But since the Buddha said that the true Dhamma will last 500 years, we want to know within that 500 years period after the Buddha passed away, what was the true Dhamma. Luckily, we have Emperor Asoka. Emperor Asoka in India was such a fervent follower of the Buddha that he decided he must preserve the words of the Buddha. So he asked the men to construct stone pillars. And on the stone pillars were carved the words of the Buddha. And now after over 2,000 years, archaeologists have dug up these round stone pillars. And they find on these stone pillars during Emperor Asoka's time, the Dhamma consisted of only 5 Nikayas. The Digha Nikaya, consisting of 34 long discourses of the Buddha. The Majjhima Nikaya, consisting of 152 medium-length discourses of the Buddha. The Sangyutta Nikaya, over 2,000 short, topically grouped discourses, grouped according to the topic, topically grouped discourses. And the Anguttara Nikaya, short discourses, over 2,000 numerically arranged discourses. And then the last Nikaya is called the Khuddaka Nikaya, meaning the minor or the small collection. Because at that time, it was the smallest collection of suttas, where there were very few suttas. But unfortunately, over the years, people have kept adding later books into the Khuddaka Nikaya, so that now it has become the major collection. In 1956, the Burmese, they held a Sangha Council, and they added 3 books to it, which they and all other monks know are not the words of the Buddha. So for them, the Khuddaka Nikaya from 15 became 18 books. But in Thailand and Sri Lanka, Khuddaka Nikaya is still 15 books. So you can understand from there how the Khuddaka Nikaya grew from a minor collection to become a major collection. But if we investigate the 15 books of the Khuddaka Nikaya, we find that 6 books are reliable in that they do not say things that were not in the original 4 Nikayas. And then these 6 books are the Dhammapada verses, not the commentary, not the stories. Dhammapada verses, the Udana, Itivuttaka, Suttanipata, Theravada, and Theravada. So only these 6 books are reliable in the Khuddaka Nikaya. So that is the true Dhamma of the Buddha. So in the original Buddhism consisting of these books, it is said that the path, once you attain the path, it will take some time before it becomes fruit. But in later books like the Abhidhamma, they say once you attain the path, the next conscious moment, it becomes a fruit. If that is so, then you can never make offerings to a path attainer, because once he attains the path, immediately it becomes the fruit. You have no time to make offerings to him. But in the suttas, in the 5 Nikaya, the Buddha said you can make offerings to a path attainer and a fruit attainer. So it shows that It takes some time. That's why the Buddha said at the latest, before he passes away, the path, Arya, will become a fruit attainer. He attains the fruit when the wisdom matures. For example, if a person listens to the Dhamma and understands, he attains the first path because of right view. And then the character has not changed. It needs some time to change. It needs some time for that, the understanding to sink in, the wisdom to mature. And then when the wisdom matures, it turns to fruit, and the three factors fall away for the Sotapanna. So how do we practice the Ariyan Eightfold path to attain the paths and the fruits to become an Arya? This is explained very clearly in the Mahachattarisaka Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta 117, where the Buddha stressed a few times that the only way to practice the Ariyan Eightfold path is to start with right view. There is only one entrance to the Ariyan Eightfold path. Right view only. And it is said that once you attain right view, it will lead you to the next factor, which is right thoughts. And then that will lead you to the next factor, which is right speech. And followed by right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So it has to follow in that sequence. The development of the Ariyan Eightfold path must go in that sequence. So how do we get right view? For this, we have to refer to other suttas. The Buddha spoke something like 8,000 suttas. And these suttas explain the Dhamma from different angles. And it is very important to study many suttas to get an overall picture of the Dhamma. If you just listen to one or two suttas, you think you understand, you don't really understand. It's just like some people, they practice Satipatthana, or they think they are practicing Satipatthana and they only listen to the Satipatthana Sutta. But the Satipatthana Sutta only tells you the objects of sati that you should practice. It does not tell you, it does not explain clearly how to practice Satipatthana. To know how to practice Satipatthana and also to know the difference between sati and Satipatthana, you have to investigate many suttas in the Satipatthana Sangyutta, the 47 Sangyutta of the Sangyutta Nikaya. If you investigate those suttas, then you find, you'll be surprised to find there's a big difference between sati and Satipatthana. And that is not explained by most monks. Most monks treat sati and Satipatthana as though they are the same thing. They are very different things. So to understand how to get right view, the first factor of the Ariyan Eightfold path, we have to refer to the Bojjhanga Sangyutta. The Bojjhangas consist of 7 factors. 7 factors of the factors of enlightenment. Bojjhangas are factors of enlightenment. Meaning, if you practice those factors, it will lead you to enlightenment. But then the Ariyan Eightfold path also leads you to enlightenment. So the 7 factors of enlightenment are very similar to the Ariyan Eightfold path. What is different is the stress of the factors. They stress different factors. So, to understand how to get right view, we look into the Bojjhangas, Bojjhanga Sangyutta. The first Bojjhanga is called Sati Bojjhanga, normally translated as mindfulness. Sati is normally translated as mindfulness. So it is said, when you study other suttas, you get a wider picture. In the Bojjhanga Samyutta, it says, you draw near a teacher, and the teacher should be an Arya or a Sappurisa. But in some other suttas, it says that your time must come. Every one of us, in the long cycle of rebirths, as we go around the cycle of rebirths, we become spiritually mature. And one day, when you are spiritually mature, you will go on a spiritual search. And when you go on a spiritual search, you draw near a teacher. And then the Buddha says, when you draw near a teacher, you must examine him. Is it possible for him to be an Arya? Arya, one of the 8 Aryans. Or it's also sometimes said to be a Sappurisa. Sappurisa is one who understands the Sat Dhamma. The Sat Dhamma is the true Dhamma. So the Sappurisa is a true man who understands the true Dhamma. So the Sappurisa is also an Arya, if he understands the true Dhamma. So you draw near this teacher and then you must examine him. Because if he is possibly an Arya, he should have 3 things. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. He should be morally upright, that means upholding the precepts. He should have a calm mind. Samadhi is concentration, a calm mind. The third factor is he should have wisdom. And then the Buddha says, when you talk to a person, slowly you can gauge his wisdom. So these are the 3 things first to examine. Secondly, another set of 3 things is to see whether he has greed, hatred and delusion. If he has greed, hatred and delusion, he cannot possibly be an Arya or a Sappurisa. So you examine him in this way, and then if you think he's worthy of respect, you show respect, the Buddha says. And if you show respect, he's inclined to teach you the Dhamma. And after you listen to the Dhamma, it is explained that you should remember it, recollect it, and then think it over. So that is how you practice the first Bojjhanga, is to draw near a teacher and get the opportunity to hear the true Dhamma and reflect on it, remember it. Why remember it? Because during the Buddha's time there were no books. So they all had to memorize the suttas, all had to repeat the suttas. So every day they spend a lot of time repeating the suttas. Nowadays we are very lucky. We have the SD card, we have the CDs, we have the internet, you can download it instantly. But the important thing is to listen to it every day. You don't listen to it every day, goes in one ear, goes out the other ear. So we constantly listen to it, then because we remember it, then only we can reflect on it. If you have forgotten it, how can you reflect on it? To understand. The important thing is to understand. So we have cases we can see in the suttas and the Vinaya, where many people, when they came to listen to the Dhamma for the first time, because if a person is very intelligent, even the first time when he listens, he can catch the basic meaning of the Dhamma. And many people during the Buddha's time, they listen to the Dhamma for the first time on the basic 4 Aryan truths, and the Buddha said they attain stream entry. Whenever the Buddha sees that a new person, has the ability to attain stream entry, the Buddha will explain the 4 Aryan truths. And the purpose of this teaching is to make you see anicca. Everything is impermanent in the world. Everything arises from conditions and ceases through conditions. And if you attach to those pleasant things that give you happiness, that give you good feelings, they will change. And when they change, you will get dukkha, suffering. And also because everything is a flux of energy in the world, changing all the time. There is no time when nothing changes, I think everything is changing all the time. So, because of that, there is anatta, no self. Atta means something that is permanent, everlasting, that does not depend on conditions. So sometimes people confuse this word, atta, with the soul. But the soul is not necessarily something that is permanent. The soul, if you look in the Oxford Dictionary, a soul is defined as a spiritual part of man, often assumed to be permanent. So in some religions, like in Christianity and in Islam, they assume that the soul is permanent. But in Buddhism, everything is impermanent. So I believe that there is a soul. All of us have a soul. And when this body decays and dies, we will leave. It is the soul that leaves. So some people, they listen to the Dhamma and they understand and they get right view. Once you get right view, it means you have seen the Dhamma, you have attained the Dhamma Chakku, Fayen, the eye of the Dhamma, or the vision of the Dhamma. And you have become an Arya, the lowest Arya. But the problem is, some people are not so sharp. When they listen for the first time or the second time, they don't catch the meaning, they don't attain stream entry. So they have to listen more to the suttas. So if you continue making the effort every day to listen to the suttas in the 5 Nikayas or teachings based on the 5 Nikayas, and perhaps after a few years, going through all the 5 Nikayas once or twice, then you really understand. Then you attain right view, become an Arya. So for this, the Buddha said you need the second enlightenment factor. The second bojjhanga is Dhamma Vichaya. Dhamma Vichaya is investigation of the Dhamma. After you listen to the Dhamma, you reflect on it, you investigate it, you examine it, you think it over again and again to really get to know the meaning. Why do you have to do this? Because in the Samyutta Nikaya 56.18, the Buddha said in the 4 Aryan truths or in the Dhamma of the Buddha, there are innumerable nuances, innumerable details, innumerable implications. There are different shades of meaning. There are many details in the Dhamma. There are many hidden meanings. So sometimes when we listen to the Dhamma, the suttas, the first time, we catch certain points and we are very delighted. But when after some time, you listen to the same sutta a second time, you find you catch more important points which make you surprised. How come I didn't see these important implications the first time? But when you listen to it the third time, you find you still catch some more very important implications that you did not notice before. So that's why we have to listen to the Dhamma again and again and again until we pass away. And not just listen, we have to think about it, reflect, see whether it's evident in daily life or not. As we grow older, we see the Dhamma more and more clearly. We see people suffering. We see how people who are too attached get depression. We see people who don't create enough blessings. And they get old, become low moral, mung tung. Mind is troubled because they have bad karma. And we see some people when they are dying, they are very afraid. Because 2 or 3 days before we pass away, another consciousness, another realm will appear. You don't see, but the dying person will see another world appearing. And usually they are very frightened because they see the ghost realm. So we have to cultivate the Ariyan Eightfold path. So we have to investigate the Dhamma and think it over, investigate, examine, reflect, etc. to really understand. So it takes some time, and later when you understand, you attain right view. So this Bojjhanga Samyutta tells you that you have to practice these two things to attain right view. You see, the meaning of sati in the Ariyan Eightfold path is said to be four things. If you have samma sati, right mindfulness, you have to remember to contemplate four things: the body, feelings, mind, and Dhamma. Sunyan-chu, yeah. So these four things, actually, out of these four things, the most important is Dhamma. Because it is said, there are 5 occasions when a person attains enlightenment. One, when he is listening to the Dhamma. We find during the Buddha's time, most of the people who attain stream entry, or Sakadagamin, or Anagamin, or Arahant, most of the time is due to listening to the Dhamma. The second occasion is when somebody is teaching the Dhamma, because when he is teaching the Dhamma, he has to think carefully to understand before he can speak out. So that understanding makes him attain enlightenment. The third is when he is repeating the Dhamma. As you repeat, you catch the important implications, you understand. The fourth is when he is contemplating on the Dhamma, reflecting on the Dhamma, as we heard just now, investigation of the Dhamma. And the fifth is during meditation. So you see, out of these 5 occasions when a person becomes liberated, 4 of them have to do with the Dhamma. And the Dhamma refers to the Buddha's Dhamma, the suttas. But there are some translations, there are some books where they translate the Dhamma not as the Buddha's teachings, but as phenomena, objects of the mind. So as we study the suttas, we find it is not objects of the mind that the Buddha is referring to. In the case of Dhamma, it is the Buddha's suttas, Buddha's Dhamma. Because the Buddha's Dhamma is very, very important. Before the Buddha appeared in India, there were many yogis struggling to become enlightened. And most of them meditated a lot. And some of them even attained psychic powers through meditation. But then, before the Buddha was enlightened, you could not find an Arya. You cannot find an Arya. But after the Buddha started teaching the Dhamma, people listened to his Dhamma, and then thousands and thousands of Aryans appeared. So it is only by listening to the Dhamma that you can get right view and become an Arya. Okay? So, the Ariyan Eightfold path continues in the, just now I mentioned, the Mahachattarisaka Sutta. The Buddha said, after you get right view, that will lead you to right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. How is that possible? Because once you get right view, you will correct your wrong views. You will correct your wrong prejudices. You will correct your wrong thoughts. Yeah? Because of your right view. So you naturally will get right thoughts. And then because of right thoughts, you will get right speech. Because before you can speak, you must think. If you think wrongly, you will speak wrongly. If you think correctly, you will speak correctly. And therefore, right thoughts will bring you to right speech. And then because of right view and right thoughts, you will have right action. Once you understand the Dhamma, you will not act in a way to harm other living beings. So you will have right action. And because of right thoughts, right speech, right action, you will have right livelihood. So you see, from right view, one factor, right view, it gives you 5 factors. Very naturally, it will bring you to right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood. Then after that, you have to make effort in right effort and right mindfulness and right concentration. These 3 factors, right effort, right mindfulness and right concentration, they comprise bhavana. Bhavana, the word means development. And many monks say bhavana means meditation. It is not only meditation. It is more than just one factor. Meditation is right concentration. But it consists of 3 factors, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Right effort is to get rid of unwholesome states and to develop wholesome states. This is very important because the Buddha said that unwholesome states bring us down to woeful plains of rebirth. And wholesome states bring us up to the heavens and to human rebirth. And also, these wholesome states and unwholesome states determine our character. But to practice right effort and change your character, you need to practice it together with right mindfulness. You have to pay attention to your body, feelings, mind, and Dhamma. Okay? Most important is like your 3 karmas. We act through the body, speech, and mind. So whenever you want to act through your body, the Buddha said before you do something, you must reflect whether this action I'm going to do through the body or the speech or the mind is going to harm somebody or going to benefit somebody. If it's going to benefit somebody, I should do it and do it again and again. But if it's going to harm somebody, the Buddha said, don't do it at all. Okay? So before you do anything, you have to reflect. The Buddha also said, while you are doing, also you should reflect whether it's harming or it's benefiting somebody. And after you have done, also you should reflect. If you do this, then your 3 karmas will always be pure. You will not create bad karma. Yeah. So it is very important. So for this, to notice your body, speech and your mind, you have to use right mindfulness. Contemplate your body, your feelings. When anger arises, you must notice. Your mind, if unwholesome thoughts arise, you must notice. Unwholesome thoughts are very bad for us. Develop wholesome thoughts. And your mind also includes attitude. Some people are very rich already, and then they look down on poor people, look down on the laborer and all that. So, attitude and then your perceptions. So, that is the mind. And Dhamma, we must constantly reflect to remind us. If you remember the Dhamma, then you will live your life according to the Dhamma. If you forget the Dhamma, then you don't live your life according to Dhamma. Then you will be led by greed, hatred, and delusion. Still want to enjoy going to casino, going to Hajjai, going to Hong Kong for a good meal and come back the same day, etc. So, we need to be mindful. Because the Buddha said, if we are not mindful of these 4 things, our mind will naturally go out to the 6 sense bases. To our eyes, to our ears, our nose, tongue, body and mind. We want to enjoy worldly enjoyment. Yeah? But this worldly enjoyment comes with a price. You're using up your blessings every time you enjoy. So, Buddha also said that these 6 objects, especially the 5 objects of the sense bases, the sights, sounds, smells, taste and touch, these are Mara's bait. Mara is Satan trying to tempt you with all the worldly enjoyment. Mara doesn't like you to get out of samsara. So we have to practice this mindfulness. That is the 6th factor of the Ariyan Eightfold path and the 8th factor. So this 6th and the 7th factor, if you practice it, it will give you development of character. And then the 8th factor is meditation. Meditation, if you practice meditation, you will get concentration, because in the Majjhima Nikaya, remember Ananda was asked what type of meditation is praised by the Buddha, and he said the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. And he also said the type of meditation which is not praised by the Buddha is a type of meditation where you do not eliminate the 5 hindrances. So from this sutta, firstly, it implies 2 things. One is the Buddha's meditation is the 4 jhanas. The second implication is that the purpose of meditation is to get rid of the 5 hindrances. Because if you don't get rid of the 5 hindrances, the Buddha said that is not praised by the Buddha. Why do we want to get rid of the 5 hindrances? Because in the suttas it is said that the 5 hindrances are makers of blindness. We cannot get right view if the 5 hindrances obstruct us. And we cannot attain Nibbana if the 5 hindrances obstruct us. So it's very important to get rid of the 5 hindrances. These 5 hindrances basically consist of 5 things: sensual desire, ill will or anger, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry and doubt. Sensual desire can be very disturbing for some people. Some people, sensual desire is so strong, they are very disturbed by it. Sometimes you see in the newspapers, an old man rapes the granddaughter because he cannot control himself. And then ill will or anger, sometimes people just from quarreling, they kill somebody. Yeah, you see road rage sometimes on the road. Just because of parking only, you kill somebody. Because that person has a lot of ill will and you happen to press his button. So that is a big hindrance. Sloth and torpor will make us lazy. Want to sleep all the time. Restlessness is another thing that is very troubling. You tell a young man to stay at home, don't go out, he cannot. Every night must go teh tarik, simbang with friends. So, and then doubt if your mind is not clear, then you cannot make a good decision. So these 5 things give us a lot of mental suffering. So that's why in meditation we need to get rid of the 5 hindrances. And when you get rid of the 5 hindrances, you attain the jhanas. But it's not easy to attain the jhanas. It's very difficult. That's why people become monks and nuns. If you can attain the jhanas at home, no need to become monks and nuns. Why so stupid go and become monks and nuns? Yeah. It's because it's almost impossible. That's why we become monks and nuns. Just now, we mentioned that to get right view, we have to practice the 2 bojjhangas. Listen to the Dhamma, reflect on it, remember it, and investigate it. Now in the Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta 43, it is said there are only 2 conditions for right view. the voice of another teaching you the true Dhamma. And the second condition is focused attention. When you listen, you pay focused attention. And Samyutta Nikaya 46.38 says, when one listens to the Dhamma with eager ears, attending to it as a matter of vital concern, directing his whole mind to it, on that occasion the 5 hindrances are not present in him, and the 7 bojjhanga go to fulfillment by development. So you see, when you listen to the Dhamma with eager ears, attending to it as a matter of vital concern, directing the whole mind to it, at that time, because your mind is so concentrated listening to the Dhamma, the 5 hindrances are not there. If the 5 hindrances are not there and the 7 bojjhangas are there, then you can understand and get right view. That's why just now we mentioned of the 2 conditions for attaining right view, one is listening to the true Dhamma, the other one is paying focused attention. Also in Samyutta Nikaya 55.55, there it says there are 4 conditions for stream entry instead of 2. 4 conditions. But the most important, of course, is 2. And these are called Sottapatti Yangani. Sottapatti means stream entry. And Sottapatti Yangani means the conditions for stream entry, or the factors for stream entry. And the first one is association with the true man, or an Arya, who can teach you the true Dhamma. The second condition is listening to the true Dhamma. The third is focused attention when you listen. The fourth is Dhamma no Dhamma Patipatti, practice of the Dhamma in accordance with the Dhamma. So for stream entry, practicing the Dhamma in accordance with the Dhamma means whatever you learn of the Dhamma, you try to put it into practice. But the most important is to listen to the Dhamma again and again and reflect on it until you understand. Then you will get stream entry. Also, the same sutta says, when you continue to practice these 4 conditions, after you have attained stream entry, it will turn to fruit. Fruit is Sottapatti Phala, the fruit of stream entry. And that is Sottapanna, the first fruit. Also, the same sutta says something quite surprising for some people. The Buddha said, if the 4 conditions for stream entry, these 4 conditions are completely and totally absent in a person, that person is not a Buddhist. That person is not a follower of the Buddha. That person is a follower of external sects. So the Buddha is saying, if you don't listen to his words in the suttas, you are not his disciple. You are not a Buddhist. You are not a follower of the Buddha. Why is it so? Because the Buddha stressed listening to his Dhamma, his suttas is so important. He called all his disciples, all his followers, savaka, hearers or listeners, sen wen in Chinese. Whether it's monks, also he calls them savaka. Nuns also called savaka. Laymen also called savaka. Lay women also called savaka. So if you don't listen to his words, then you are not a Buddhist at all. That's according to the Buddha. Because the Buddha says, if you don't listen to his words, you have no chance to become a Sotapanna. No chance to attain stream entry. But nowadays, a lot of people don't study the suttas. They think meditation itself will bring you stream entry. According to the words of the Buddha, it's impossible. If just meditation alone you can become a stream enterer, those yogis before the Buddha's time would have all become Arya. No need the Buddha. Yeah? There's one very important sutta that says to attain stream entry and become a Sotapanna, you don't need jhana. Nowadays there are some monks that say Sotapanna also you need jhana. Because there's one sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya 55.40. It is said there are 2 types of Sotapanna. First fruit Arya, 2 types. One is a diligent one is a negligent one. The diligent Sotapanna, after he has attained Sotapanna, the 4 characteristics of a Sotapanna, he makes further effort to attain the jhanas. After he has attained Sotapanna, he makes effort to attain the jhanas. That means he did not have the jhanas. And then he makes effort to attain the jhanas. The second type of Sotapanna is the negligent Sotapanna. After he attains Sotapanna, he does not make further effort to attain the jhanas. So from here you see both types of Sotapanna do not have jhana. So you don't need jhanas to become a Sotapanna. Once you have become a Sotapanna, you have 4 characteristics. You have unshakable faith in the Buddha, unshakable faith in the Dhamma, unshakable faith in the Sangha, and you have the Ariyan Sila. What is the Ariyan Sila? Ariyan Sila can be said to be 3 or 4 factors of the Ariyan Eightfold path. Normally, books say there are three factors. The right speech, right action, and right livelihood. Right speech consists of 4 precepts: not to lie, not to engage in divisive speech. Divisive speech is when you hear A talking bad about B, tomorrow you go and tell B, hey, Amy said this and that about you. Then you cause the 2 of them to quarrel. So you don't engage in divisive speech. The third one is not to engage in coarse or vulgar speech. Rough tongue. The 4th is not to engage in idle gossip. So right speech has 4 precepts. Right action has 3 precepts. Not to kill, not to take what is not given, in other words, not to steal, and then not to engage in sexual misconduct. And right livelihood is governed by right speech and right action, so there is no particular precept. But you can also include right thoughts, because we do evil to the mind, the body, and our speech. So if you include right thoughts, then you don't have wrong thoughts. Wrong thoughts are covetousness or greed. Greed for other people's things. And then ill will, a lot of anger. And the third one, wrong thought, is thoughts of cruelty, to harm others. So this is the Ariyan Sila. Basically, it is 7 precepts. So, this is the 4 characteristics of a Sotapanna: unshakable faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and he possesses Ariyan Sila. Also, it is said, once you become an Arya, you will never be reborn in the 3 woeful planes. Never be reborn as a ghost, as an animal, and go to hell. After we die, there are 5 destinations of rebirth. Gati, and 2 are called happy destinations, Sugati. 3 are woeful destinations, Dugati. So the woeful planes consist of these 3, which are Dugati. The happy destination is the human realm and the heavens. So you always come back only as a human being or as a Deva or a Devi. Also, a Sotapanna has a maximum of 7 more lifetimes. And every time he comes back, his hockey, his blessings are very great. He'll have a very good life as a human or a Deva or a Devi. So the suffering that is left is very, very little. But if you don't attain stream entry and become an Arya, the Buddha said the suffering is so much more, because you'll be continue on the endless round of rebirths. The Buddha says samsara, the round of rebirths has no end, never ending, unless you make the effort to get out of samsara. And in this long cycle of rebirths, you will become a ghost countless times. You will fall into the animal realm countless times. You go to hell countless times, and that is very, very frightening. So that's why it's very, very important to listen to the true Dhamma and attain right view. A lot of people don't appreciate the true Dhamma. The Buddha said it is very, very difficult for you to get three conditions together. First, to be born as a human being, to have a human body. Second, the true Dhamma is available in the world. The third condition is you are able to meet the true Dhamma. There are billions of people in the world. How many meet the true Dhamma? Very few. So, and other times, like some people, the true Dhamma is available, but unfortunately they are born as an animal or a ghost. They also cannot hear the true Dhamma. And for the true Dhamma to be in the world is very, very difficult also, because one night the Buddha did not sleep. The whole night he contemplated the past. For 12 hours he contemplated 91 world cycles. And the Buddha said he only saw 6 Sammasambuddhas. Only 6 Buddhas willing to teach the Dhamma. But sometimes you can find hundreds and thousands of Pacceka Buddhas. Like, for example, in the Isigili Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya 116, the Buddha said, at one time outside Rajagaha, on the Isigili hill, there were 500 Pacceka Buddhas staying there at one time. So most of the Buddhas, you can say 99.99% of Buddhas are Pacceka Buddhas. They don't want to teach. Even our Buddha Gotama, after he was enlightened, he contemplated living beings, and he found most beings are not interested in the Dhamma. Because we follow our greed, hatred and delusion. We follow our natural tendencies to enjoy life. So we go along the stream of life, happily down the stream of life. But to get out of samsara, you have to go the opposite way, make a lot of effort, go up the stream. And that is extremely difficult. So very few Buddhas want to teach. There is a sutta in the Digha Nikaya, Sutta 29, where the Buddha said, his teaching of the holy life is perfect and complete. In other words, you cannot make it more perfect, you cannot make it more complete. The Buddha said, if you want to add to his words, you don't see his Dhamma. If you don't see his Dhamma, you don't have right view. You don't have vision of the Dhamma. You are a putujana, an ordinary worldling, not an Arya. If you want to subtract from his words, the Buddha also said you don't see his Dhamma. So the 5 Nikayas are perfect and complete. Don't go and study other books. After 500 years, other books appeared, like the Mahayana Sutras, the Abhidhamma, the commentaries, Visuddhimagga, all that. They have a lot of good teachings, but unfortunately, they give you some wrong view. So, we have to be very careful. So, this sutta shows that our Buddha Gotama is one of the best Buddhas you can find. Because his teachings are perfect and complete, you cannot find another Buddha who teaches more perfect and complete than our Buddha Gotama. Yeah? At the most, they can only equal our Buddha Gotama. Our Buddha Gotama is a top-class Buddha, and a lot of people don't appreciate. Also, a lot of people don't know, he is one of the top in psychic powers. There's one sutta when he went to the Brahma heavens to teach Mahabrahma. These Brahmas, their psychic powers are very great. So he called Bhante Hye, our Buddha Gotama. So Buddha Gotama showed psychic powers to him. He was astounded. And he said, Mahabrahma, their life is very long. He has never seen another ascetic whose psychic powers is so great as our Buddha Gotama. See? You don't know all this if you don't investigate the suttas. So, now I will tell you, it is not that difficult to become an Arya. The lowest stream entry is not difficult because you don't need jhana. And we find in the suttas, many people came to the Buddha for the first time. They don't know meditation, they don't know Dhamma. Just listen to the Buddha's teaching on the basic 4 Aryan truths and see impermanence, dukkha and anatta, and they attain stream entry. One is the Sarakani Sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya 55.24. There was a man by the name of Sarakani, a Sakyan. He passed away. And people asked the Buddha, where was Sarakani reborn? And the Buddha said, oh, Sarakani has gone for a good rebirth because he's a Sotapanna. Then the news spread. And the news came to some people's ears. They were annoyed. They said, this Sarakani is a drinker. Likes to drink liquor. 5 precepts also cannot keep. How can he be a Sotapanna? If he can be a Sotapanna, we are all Sotapanna already. Because you can keep the 5 precepts. So when the monks reported back to the Buddha, the Buddha said, why can't Sarakani be a Sotapanna? He has taken refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha for a long time. Meaning, he has listened to the Buddha for a long time. And the Buddha said something a bit surprising. The Buddha said, look at the trees. Don't talk about Sarakani. If I taught Dhamma to the trees and they can understand, they also can become Sotapanna. Why can't you become Sotapanna? So you all have a good chance of becoming Sotapanna if you can understand the Buddha's words. You see, the Buddha did not say, if I were to teach the trees meditation, they will become Sotapanna. No, the Buddha said, if I were to teach them the Dhamma, and they just need to understand my words, they will become Sotapanna. So you can see, it's very clear that listening to the Dhamma is so important. Also from here, drinking a bit of liquor is not so bad. Another story, a true story, is in the Vinaya books. Devadatta was one of the Buddha's disciples who liked to meditate and not interested in the suttas. There is a sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya where the Buddha scolded one of his disciples. He said, I notice every time I teach the Dhamma, you don't pay attention. So Devadatta was one such monk. He only wanted to meditate. He meditated so much until he attained psychic powers. And because he had psychic powers, he showed them to the prince Ajatasattu. The Ajatasattu prince became his fan, worship him. Every day made offerings of 500 dishes to him. But then because he didn't have right view, his ego became bigger. So one day he asked the Buddha, when the Buddha was old, he asked the Buddha to step down. He said, let me take your place. You are old already. So the Buddha scolded him in front of all the monks and nuns, scolded him. He was so angry, he wanted to kill the Buddha. But with the thought, with the intention to kill the Buddha, he lost all his psychic powers. So one way his scheme was, he asked the Prince Ajatasattu to give him some men to do some work. So the prince asked some men, a group of men, say, whatever this monk, this Bhante wants you to do, you do. So he called the first man. He said, you go to this forest where Samana Gotama is, you go and kill him and come back by this road. And this man left, and he asked 2 persons to wait for this man when he comes back by a certain road, kill him and come back by another road. Then he asked 4 to kill the 2, 8 to kill the 4, and 16 to kill the 8. So the first man went off. Then he came to where the Buddha was. He saw the Buddha sitting there, waiting for him. So because of his guilty conscience, he got frightened. And then he put aside his weapons and confessed to the Buddha that actually he got no intention to kill the Buddha, but he was ordered to do so. So the Buddha said, never mind, you sit here, I will teach you the Dhamma. Buddha taught him the Dhamma, he attained stream entry. Then the Buddha told him, you don't go back by that road, 2 men are waiting for you. Run another way. Then the 2 men waited until they could not wait. They came. Similarly, they came to where the Buddha was. They saw the Buddha staring at them. So they also got frightened, threw away the weapons and bowed to the Buddha. And the Buddha said, sit down, I will teach you the Dhamma. The 2 also attained stream entry. Similarly, 4 came, also attained stream entry. 8 also attained. 16 also attained. You see, if these people can attain stream entry, surely Singaporeans can attain stream entry, isn't it? So from this, you find it's not so difficult. Also, there was an occasion in the Vinaya books where the Buddha converted 1,000 jatilas, matted hair ascetics, because the Buddha went to them because they practiced the jhanas, and some of them had attained psychic powers. So the Buddha knew it was difficult to teach such people, so the Buddha stayed a few weeks with them and showed psychic powers until they were totally convinced that the Buddha's cultivation was much higher. Then the Buddha told the leader, Kassapa, he said, Kassapa, you keep thinking you're an Arahant, but you're not an Arahant. You're not practicing the way to become an Arahant. So after thinking a while, he knew the Buddha's, understood the Buddha, so he pleaded to become a disciple of the Buddha. So the Buddha accepted him. And once he became a disciple of the Buddha, his 999 disciples also became monks under the Buddha. And after that, the Buddha taught them one sutta, Adita Pariyaya Sutta. Because they prayed to fire, the Buddha used this fire discourse to say the whole world is on fire. The whole world is burning with greed, hatred and delusion. And slowly the Buddha talked about non-self. And then, just listening to one sutta, all 1,000 became arahants. Then later the Buddha brought them to Rajagaha to see King Bimbisara, and King Bimbisara threw a big lunch dana and called all the people of Rajagaha to come and see the arahants. So after the meal, the Buddha taught the 4 Aryan truths to 120,000 people, and all of them attained stream entry. They are not scientists or engineers or lawyers or doctors, they are ordinary aunties and uncles and all that. And they never learned meditation. Just listening the first time they attained stream. Another occasion was when 80,000 people came to see the Buddha for the first time. The Buddha also taught them the 4 Aryan truths. They also attained stream entry. Some people don't believe that now you can attain stream entry by listening to the Dhamma. They say Buddha is different. When the Buddha taught, because of his psychic powers, people could understand. But that's not true, because we find in the Vinaya books, Sariputta and Moggallana, they were external ascetics, practicing, I think, under Sanjiva. So one day, Sariputta went on alms round Pindapata, and then he saw one of the 5 earliest monks, Wu Bichiu, Venerable Asaji, who had just become an Arahant. And when he saw Venerable Asaji, he was very impressed, because Venerable Asaji looked extremely calm, and the face was so bright and all that. So he was convinced Venerable Asaji is not an ordinary person. He went to Venerable Asaji and asked him, Bhante, who is your teacher? What does he teach? And Venerable Asaji said, I've just become a monk under my teacher, not long, so I know very little. Then Venerable Sariputta said, it doesn't matter, little or much, you please tell me. Then he said, all dhammas arise from conditions. All dhammas cease through conditions. Chinese we say, 诸法因缘生, 诸法因缘灭, yeah. So Venerable Sariputta was very sharp, very intelligent. He understood that what the Buddha meant was all things in the world arise from conditions and all cease through conditions. It's not that somebody created something suddenly. It's all due to conditions. And then he saw anicca. And he attained stream entry. So he asked where the Buddha was and all that, because he wanted to go and see the Buddha. After that, he left, went to look for his good friend, Moggallana. He explained the same thing to Venerable Moggallana. Moggallana also attained the stream entry. So you see, Venerable Sariputta attained stream entry not by listening to the Buddha, by listening to the Arahant. Yeah. Secondly, Moggallana attained stream entry not from listening to an Arahant, but from listening to a stream enterer. So you listen to a stream enterer, also you can attain. What is important is the Dhamma. It's not the person. It is the understanding. Yeah. So, there is another important sutta. I mentioned this sutta just now, Mahanikaya 43. In this sutta it says, just now we said, this sutta says, to attain right view, you need two conditions. The voice of another teaching you the true Dhamma. The second condition is focused attention. The same sutta says, after you attain right view, that means attain stream entry, to practice to attain liberation, become an Arahant, there are 5 conditions that you need to practice. One is Sila, moral conduct. Another one is Dhamma Savana, listening to the Dhamma. The third is Dhamma Sakacha, discussion of the Dhamma. The fourth is Samatha, is meditation to attain the 4 jhanas, to attain Samadhi. Vipassana is contemplation, and contemplation, I mentioned just now, consists of the 2 factors, right effort and right mindfulness, which you practice in everyday life. When we meditate, we must only train our mind to focus and attain the jhanas. That is Buddhist meditation. But when we are not meditating, then we should practice right effort and right mindfulness. In Chinese we say, Nei Quan, look inwards. Don't look at other people's fault, look at our own faults. Because if you don't change your character, you may be heading for a woeful plane of rebirth. I like to quote this example. There's one devotee of mine, old man. He told me years ago the auntie had a very, very nasty character, full of anger and hatred. 2 days before she died, the Dracula teeth came out so long. Children were shocked. And 2 days later, when she died, the teeth disappeared. What does it mean? It means 2 days before she died, the soul is coming out of the body. Linh Huân, is coming out. And this soul is determined by your character. You have a character of a Deva or a Devi. This soul is a Deva or a Devi before you die. You have a character like this woman of a fierce ghost. Before you die, you have already turned into this fierce ghost inside. So you have to be very, very careful. That's why the Buddha said, if you want to be reborn in heaven, to be a Deva or a Devi, you have to change your character now. Xiu Xing, Xiu Xing se Xiu Xing Wei. Change your character until you become a Deva or a Devi before you die. Then when you die, you automatically go to heaven. If you are Gu Khe, and you think you want to be reborn in heaven, no chance. So just now we said, this is Vipassana, development of character. And then development of mind is to get rid of the 5 hindrances. Because when you get rid of the 5 hindrances by meditation, then you have a very clear mind. You become very sharp, very intelligent. You find people who are intelligent, they have very good concentration. People like Albert Einstein, one of the top brains in the world. If you give him a long mathematical problem, we need a calculator. He doesn't need that. He closes his eyes, and he does all the calculation in his mind, and then he write down. Without concentration, how can you do that? So you want to be intelligent, you got to meditate, samatha meditation. And we are not meditating, you practice vipassana, contemplation. You notice the 5 conditions you need after you get right view. Sila, just now I mentioned, once you get right view, you will automatically have sila. The other 4 factors. And then the second is Dhamma Savana, listening to the Dhamma. The third one is Dhamma Sakacha, discussion of the Dhamma. So you see the importance of the Dhamma. If you want to enter the stream, become the first path attainer, you need to listen to the true Dhamma. And after you have attained stream entry, to become an Arahant, you still need to listen to the true Dhamma and discuss the true Dhamma so that you understand better. So you see how important is the Dhamma. Without the Dhamma, no chance at all to become an Arya. And then after that, you practice samatha in meditation, and out of meditation, you practice vipassana. Equal. So I'll end here and invite questions. Wrong for what? Suicide.
Yes.
Okay.
But Ariyan can kill himself because he has no self. But in my thinking, it's like being Ariyan or a lay person, right? Life is precious, and you are in this life because you have a long karma to learn. So if Ariyan can kill himself, and how does it make much sense?
Firstly, I did not say that an Arya can kill himself. In the suttas, it is mentioned that there are certain Arahants who committed suicide. There's a difference between Arya and Arahant. An Arahant has completely finished his work. The body is just a vegetable to him. It's not my body. Okay? But still, the Buddha said, as long as you have life, you should fight to preserve your life, in the sense that if you have pain and all that, you try to bear it. But there were some Arahants who had so much body pain that they could not stand it. They tried to stand it, but they cannot stand it. We have a threshold of pain. Beyond a certain level, we cannot stand. That's why you find that sometimes you see in the newspaper, somebody commits voluntary euthanasia. He commits suicide. Not that he is asking somebody to kill him, he kills himself. Like in 1996, when I was in Australia, there was a case about a man who, in Australia, there was only one state, the Northern Territories, at that time, they legalized euthanasia. So this man had cancer, and they gave him all that Western treatment for cancer. And they said that he will be well. But after 5 years, he got worse and worse. And he could not control his bowel movement and all that. So he found he was not only suffering, the wife was suffering along with him. The wife could not sleep because in the middle of the night he will have a bowel motion and the wife have to take care of him. So he just could not stand it anymore. So he wanted to use the euthanasia condition, this law in Northern Territories, and he asked people to help him. 2 persons helped him. One was a computer lady, another one was a doctor. So they rigged up this machine for him, and they put a needle connected to this drug and connected to his vein. So he has to press a button. But he press a button, and then if he's afraid, it doesn't work. He has to press the button twice. So he pressed the button twice and he died. So when we don't know how much he's suffering. Compassion means we want to end suffering. So when a person suffers too much and he chooses to die, I think we should not stop him. You don't know how much he suffers, wait until you are in that position, then you make the decision yourself.
Yeah, but what I think is like, if you are suffering, it's because actually your body is the same, right? It's because from your previous life or it's something else.
But in the case of the Arahant, he has no more karma. You are talking about, if I don't suffer now, next life I will suffer. But not in the case of the Arahant. He has no more suffering, no more self. So it doesn't matter whether he dies now or he dies later.
So I also asked a friend about Christian, they mentioned that as long you are baptized and something like you follow Jesus, right? So if you as long as you can you kill yourself, right? Then you will go
What they think doesn't matter. Any other question? Yes. How to know what? Either you go to a teacher who knows, or you study the suttas. There are many different opinions. You listen to one monk, he says it's the right way. You listen to another monk, he says it's the right way. So you listen to the Buddha is the best. Nowadays, a lot of monks teach on the Visuddhi Magga, which was written 900 years after the Buddha's passing away. So they say when you practice Anapanasati, you watch the tip of the nose or the top of your upper lip. The Buddha never said that. Any other question?
My question is, can Bhante share a bit more about the non-self and the 10 factors?
10 factors.
I'm confused between the factors and the 5 hindrances. I think I understand the hindrances, but between these 3...
okay. I think you're confused between the hindrances and the factors only because of one factor, which is vicikiccha, doubt. These two occur in both places. Only this occurs in 2 places, I think. And there's another 2. But doubt in the 5 hindrances is different from the doubt in the factors. The doubt in the factors is eliminated when you become a Sotapanna. And that refers to doubt about the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. When you become a Sotapanna, you have eliminated doubt about the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. You have unshakable faith in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. But in the 5 hindrances, the doubt is different. The doubt is your mind is blur. So, anything you hear also doubtful. You want to make a decision also you're doubtful. Suppose you apply for a job and 5 firms offer you a job. You scratch your head, don't know how to choose because your mind is blur, you cannot think properly. So it's different. The doubt in the hindrances is due to sloth and torpor and a blurred mind. Okay. What was the other question you asked?
Non-self.
Non-self is more difficult. Non-self is there's nothing in the world that can be identified as the self. Self means something that is unchanging, that is permanent, that is not due to conditions. But everything in the world is changing and changing due to conditions. So now you say, this body is me. But according to science, your body is changing all the time, and cells are appearing, are growing, and cells are dying. And the Buddha gave a very good simile. The Buddha said that your body is just like foam. When you wash your clothes, you throw fat powder and you stir the water, what do you get? A lot of foam, So you look at the foam, the bubbles, new bubbles appear, old bubbles burst. New bubbles appear, old bubbles. This is exactly what is happening in our body. Our body consists of cells. New cells are growing, old cells are dying. And according to science, every 7 years, all the cells in your body are changed. So just like the snake sheds the skin, we are shedding our cells. Moment by moment, moment by moment. The body that you're having now is a completely new body from the body you had 7 years ago. So you say the body is me, which one? Which cell is you? It's just like the river. The river looks the same if you stare at the river. The river is flowing and you think it's the same river. But every moment is changing because the water is growing away, new water is coming. So it's very deceptive. It looks like it's the same, but it's not the same. So the Buddha said, for a long time, we have been deceived by the mind. We have a blur mind, so we have been deceived. That's why we need to get rid of the 5 hindrances. The Buddha said, the body is changing fast, but the mind is changing even faster. So we take the body and the mind to be the self, but the mind is changing faster than the body. So what is there in us? We take ourselves to be the body and the mind. What is there that is not changing in our body and our mind? Nothing. Just a flux of energy. Yeah? Yeah. Would you like to explain to us how to practice samatha meditation and vipassana meditation? Is there such a meditation called vipassana? There is no such meditation called vipassana. It was created by people. In the Buddha's teachings, vipassana is contemplation, and I mentioned contemplation is what you practice out of meditation. And samatha meditation taught by the Buddha and practiced by the Buddha is anapanasati, fusikwan, watching our breath. To watch our breath, the Buddha said, you need to sit down, close your eyes, and not pay attention to sounds and other things, and try to focus your mind. Our normal everyday life, normal everyday mind likes to go out through the 6 senses. To see, to hear, to smell, taste, touch and think. And because of that, our mind is very scattered. So our mind has no strength, no muscle. So the Buddha gave a very good simile. The Buddha wanted us to understand the working of the mind. The Buddha said a hunter caught 6 animals. He caught an eagle, he caught a monkey, he caught a snake, he caught a crocodile, he caught a dog, he caught a jackal. And these 6 animals, he tied a rope around the neck of each of the animals. And then the 6 ropes, he tied them into a knot and he released them. What happens? The eagle wants to fly into the air. The monkey wants to climb up the tree. The snake wants to go into the hole to hide. The crocodile wants to go into the river. The dog wants to go into the town to look for food. The jackal wants to go up the hill. So these 6 animals are pulling in 6 different directions. Whichever one is strongest, he pulls and the others have to follow him. Yeah. And when he's tired, another one will pull, the others have to follow him. So now you are listening to my voice, you are paying attention. Suppose a car outside, very loud. Your attention is pulled outwards. Yeah. So the Buddha is saying that our mind is being pulled out through the 6 senses constantly. Each one is pulling just like these 6 animals. So whichever one is strongest, your attention goes there. Yeah. So this is the untrained mind, unrestrained mind, undisciplined mind, the Buddha said. The normal everyday mind. So the Buddha said, to train this, to discipline the mind, using back the 6 animals, the Buddha said the 6 ropes, instead of tying them into a knot and releasing them, should be tied to a strong post or pillar. So if the hunter ties all the 6 animals to a strong post or pillar, the animals can only go round and round that post. They cannot go anywhere else. They go round and round until they are tired, and they obediently sleep beside the post. Yeah. So the post represents one object of meditation, which is the breath. The breath going in, going out. So you just pay attention to your breath. Every time the mind runs out to your office or to your children or to your home, you pull it back to the breath. This is called vitakka, thought directed. Every time it runs away, you pull it back. Vitakka. And then you keep it on the breath. This is called thought sustain, vichara. You sustain it on your breath. Just using these two things. Okay? And if you have the good karma, you have the blessings, the time is right now. You have a good sila, you don't have remorse over something that you did wrong, then you are able to follow your breath. If you keep following your breath, slowly, longer and longer, then your mind starts to come together. Okay, starts to unify. Start to get one-pointedness of mind. When that happens, two other factors arise, piti and sukha. Your mind coming together is called ekagata, one-pointedness of mind. Piti is delight, you are delighted. Never experienced this before. And happiness is the bliss that arises inside, not dependent on outside things. So when you get this, you are so excited, you fall off the chair, fall out of your samadhi. This happens to most of us, the first time we get it. So we have to try to get it again. So provided your time is right. Better still if you are a monk or a nun, then you can practice more. And slowly, when these 5 factors, vitaka, vichara, ekagata, piti and sukha, you can sustain them together, they come together, then you get the first jhana. But when your mind is not so strong yet, you can get it for a short while and then you lose it. When your mind comes together, it starts to emit light, so you see brightness and all that, but don't attach to it. I think all things arise from conditions and cease to conditions. So it comes and goes. If you pay attention to the light, then you are not paying attention to your primary object, which is the breath. And then you will lose your samadhi. So that's why the Buddha said, only one object only. Pay attention only to one object. Nowadays, you have teachers who teach samatha using the Visuddhi Magga. So their teaching is different from the Buddha. So you have to be careful. So that is how you practice samatha. But then, for most of us, when we try to put our attention on the breath, we are not able to do it. The monkey mind always wants to run here, run there. So sometimes you have to use tricks. So the one that is commonly taught by many monks is to count the breath. Goes in, goes out, you count 1. Goes in, goes out, you count 2. Goes in, goes out, you count 3, up to 10. Then after that, you start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 10. That's one way. Another way is to, like in Thailand, they say when the breath goes in, you think put, do. When it goes out, when it goes in, put. When it goes out, do. Put, do, put, do. There's another method. But I find these two methods not so good in the sense that if you keep thinking of Buddha, Buddha, then you forgot about your breath, you're only thinking of Buddha, Buddha. In the same way, if you're doing counting, you think of the counting and you forgot your breath. So generally I tell people, when your breath goes in and your breath goes out, you move one of your fingers very slightly. Move very slightly, nobody will notice. Why? Because when you move your finger, you are aware of your body. Every time you are aware of your body, you are in the here and now. Because when we ta wang xiang, we are thinking of this and thinking of that. We forgot we are sitting down in meditation. That is why you find in most religions, you can say all religions, they like to use the beat. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord. So, in Islam they say, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. What's the purpose of all this? To keep your attention here and now, especially when you move the beats. So in Hinduism they use mantra, Om or something. So when you move any part of your body, as long as you are aware of your body, your mind comes back immediately. That is why the Buddha said, mind kaya gata sati, mindfulness directed to the body leads to the deathless. Because you are in the here and now, then you can become liberated, become an arahant. If you are thinking all the time, no way you can have a whole of your mind. Yeah. So that's how you practice samatha. Luangpor, you mentioned about the stages of anagami and arahantship. They have perfect jhana. The only difference is that arahants attain the wisdom which is the highest threefold path and liberation, namely sila, bhavana, and panya. So what are the training involved to attain wisdom after having perfect jhana? Threefold path. Threefold path is not sila, bhavana, and panya. It is sila, samadhi, and panya. In the Anguttara Nikaya, Sutta 3.86 and 9.12, the Buddha said, Sotapanna and the Sakadagamin, the first and the second fruit Arya, they have perfect sila. The Anagamin has perfect sila and samadhi. The Arahant has perfect sila, samadhi, and panya. Perfect samadhi is the 4 jhanas. So the Anagamin and the Arahant must have 4 jhanas before they can attain Anagamin and Arahant. That's why you find most of the Anagamins, they are reborn in the 4th jhana heaven. Some of them who have attained the Arupas, they are reborn in the Arupas. No lower than 4 jhanas. Now, these two, Sotapanna and Sakadagamin, what is the difference? They only have perfect sila. They don't have perfect samadhi. So they don't need the 4 jhanas. The difference, the Buddha says, is the Sakadagamin, the second fruit, Arya, he has reduced greed, hatred, and delusion. Greed, hatred, and delusion is part of the hindrances. Greed is the first hindrance, sensual desire. Okay? And hatred is the second hindrance, which is ill will or anger. Okay? And delusion is due to sloth and torpor, restlessness and all that. So you see, to reduce the greed, hatred and delusion, you have to reduce your hindrances. And the only way to reduce your hindrances is samadhi. So the Sakadagamin, second fruit, must have the first jhana or the second jhana or the third jhana to bring down the hindrances so that they don't obstruct. Okay? But Sotapanna, I mentioned just now in the Sutta 55.40, I think, Sotapanna does not need any jhana. There are so many suttas, 8,000 suttas. Unless you are familiar with them, you miss out one sutta, then you think Sotapanna needs jhana. What's the third? The training involved to attain wisdom or insight after having perfect jhana. I mentioned just now, after you get right view, 5 factors, 5 conditions you must practice. Sila, listening to Dhamma, discussion of the Dhamma, samatha, and vipassana. These are the 5 things you constantly practice until your wisdom matures. Luangpor, if a person seldom do good deeds, however he listens to the Dhamma, talks very often, do meditation and observe Sila, will he likely go to the 3 woeful realms in his next life? If he listens to the Dhamma and understands, then even if he does not get Sotapanna, not likely to go to the woeful realms, because if you really understand, you will practice it. And it means cultivating wholesome states. In one sutta, the Buddha also said that a Sotapanna has 4, just now I mentioned a Sotapanna has 4 characteristics: unshakable faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and Aryan Sila. But there is another sutta where the Buddha said the 4 characteristics Characteristics of a Sotapanna can also be unshakable faith in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and very generous, open-handed. People ask anything, also he gives. That's a characteristic of a Sotapanna. So if you are selfish, you don't want to do dana, how to be a Sotapanna? There are some foolish people, they think, I want to cultivate wisdom. I only want to cultivate wisdom. Dana not necessary lah, sila not necessary lah. Shortcut, everybody looking for shortcut. Cannot, you must go through the normal process. The Buddha said progress in the spiritual path is like walking to the ocean. The ocean slopes very gently. It does not suddenly become deep. Very slowly. So progress also is like that. Don't think like buying lottery, strike it rich suddenly. Yes.
Sorry, I ask you again. What is the difference between soul, spirit, mind, and consciousness?
Soul, spirit, mind, and consciousness. Soul and spirit basically is the same thing. In Hinduism, they say that we have three bodies. The physical body, the astral body, and the super consciousness, which is the mind. And surprisingly, you find Jesus said, God is three. God the Father, God the Holy Ghost, and God the Son. This sounds similar to Hinduism, the three bodies. So it is possible Jesus could have been a Hindu yogi, because he was lost for 18 years. He went somewhere to practice and attain. He attained the 4 jhanas, That's why he could walk on water. And 40 days and 40 nights, he meditated. He did not eat, he did not sleep. And somebody who has attained the 4 jhanas is near to enlightenment. The mind becomes so clear that if he had the opportunity to listen to the true Dhamma, even one sutta, he could become enlightened. And normally, Mara, Satan, if he sees somebody has attained the 4 jhanas, he'll come and disturb you. Afraid, you become enlightened and greater than him. So that's why he went to disturb Jesus. So you find in the Buddha's teaching there are 5 destinations of rebirth: heaven, human realm, and then 3 woeful planes: the ghost, animal, and hell realm. The Buddha also said, of these 5 destinations of rebirth, there are 4 forms of birth. One is the egg born, the lowest. Higher than that is the womb born, humans and animals. Higher than that is vapor born or water born, maybe referring to it's supposed to be higher than the humans, higher than the womb. So probably referring to cloud spirits. And then higher than that is born of the spirit, direct transformation. Directly we get the body of a deva or a devi. That's why Jesus said that unless a man be born again, he cannot enter the kingdom of God. Because one rabbi came to ask Jesus, I think this is the gospel according to St. John, the 5th chapter. One rabbi, he had a lot of respect for Jesus. So in the middle of the night, he came to ask the Buddha some questions, but he didn't want other people to know. He came to talk to the Jesus. So he asked Jesus, he said, Lord, is it true that man must be reborn again before he can enter the kingdom of God? And Jesus said, truly I say unto you, unless a man be born again, he cannot enter the kingdom of God. And then this rabbi asked, he said, what? You mean a man must enter the womb again? Again, Jesus said, truly I say unto you. And the Jesus said, unless a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Born of water and of the Spirit sounds very much like our Buddhist teaching. The two types of rebirth, which is higher than the womb born. So you see, out of these 5 destinations of rebirth, the egg-born, the being must enter the egg, and then after the egg matures and the shell breaks and he comes out of it, and he attains a flesh body. So the egg-born is a flesh body, but there's a spirit inside the flesh. Similarly, the womb-born, when we enter our mother's womb, we enter the egg. And because we enter the egg, there's a being that enters the egg starts to grow, and then you have a flesh body. But the other two, you don't have flesh body. So you find heavenly beings, they exist in spirit form, which can say is the soul. And then the ghosts have a spirit form, and hell beings have a spirit form. In the suttas, Venerable Sariputta said, if a man's karma is so heavy that he's going to be reborn in hell, the hell beings will come up and drag him down to hell. That's why we talk about Gu Tao Be Bin, Now Tao Ma Min. I have a devotee who told me the father, a few days before he died, he saw Now Tao Ma Min waiting for him at the door. So you see from here that only two, the egg-born and the womb-born, now we have the flesh body. The other 3 don't have flesh body. And you are asking about what? Consciousness and mind. The Buddha, when the Buddha talked about mind, the Buddha used 3 terms. One is mano. Mano is one of the 6 faculties and refers to the thinking mind. And then the Buddha talked about vijnana. Vijnana refers to the 6 consciousness, the seeing consciousness, the hearing consciousness, the smell, taste, touch, and the vijnana, the mind consciousness. And then the Buddha talked about citta. Citta can refer to mind moments and also refer to the whole mind. But we are not too clear about all this. Don't worry, when you become an arahant, it will be clear to you. Any other thing? I was supposed to bring some books and SD cards. Maybe I forgot to bring. Did we bring Brother K? Brother Yi, did we bring? Ron, SD cards are here. So if you want to get the SD cards, not many left. English and Hokkien. Each SD card is 8 gig, contains about 300 hours of talks. The English one has all the 5 Nikayas. I spent many years explaining that. 5 Nikayas. And the Hokkien one, I think, has 4 Nikayas. So it's good to get them and listen again and again. If you get some basic understanding, you are already a stream enterer. Yes.
Yes, Bhante, I visited you in Perak a few days back before you were here. And I started the Hokkien version. Then now I just start the English version on this SD card. It is better for for the English version.
Because my Hokkien is Penang Hokkien, Baba Hokkien.
But the English version is, I just believe and listen to it. It's very, very, very good for understanding. Thank you so much.
There are some people who try to study the 5 Nikayas through the books, and they find it very difficult to understand. But when they listen to my talks, they find it much easier. Because when I read a sutta, after that I explain it using other suttas to explain. Each sutta tells you the truth from one perspective, from one angle. But then it's not enough to understand. You need to read to listen to several suttas about the same subject, and then you understand. It's like the 4 blind men who went to handle the elephant, and the man who touched the leg of the elephant, he swears that an elephant is just like a coconut trunk, a coconut tree. The one who was hit by the tail, he says elephant is just like a fan. He doesn't believe anything other than the fan, the elephant. The one who touched the body, he says the elephant is just like a wall, solid only. The one who touched the nose, said the elephant is just like a trunk only, the pipe only. So you see, when you listen to one sutta, you get it from one angle. You have to get an overall picture. So you touch the whole elephant, then only you know what the elephant is about. That's why you have to listen to many suttas. And you listen again and again. Because the first time you listen, you catch certain points. Second time you listen, you catch more points. Third time, even more points. Okay. When we listen to the Dhamma, there are devas and devis who come to listen, not ghosts. So we invite the devas and devis to rejoice with us, to be happy. Repeat after me. Itavata cha'am hi Sambatang punya sampadang Sabe deva Sabe buddha Sabe satta Anumodantu Sabba sampati Siddhya Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We have a website called Vihara Buddha Gotama and also a Facebook. You can learn more about our Vihara from there. And you can see I've given many talks. They are also on YouTube. So you are welcome to come to our Vihara for retreat. There's a direct bus that goes from Golden Mile straight to the nearest town, which is the mall. We also have a map in our website. So if you want to come, you just WhatsApp us or SMS us. We only have one phone in the monastery, it's in our books. And elsewhere, the website you can check up. Okay?